Hey guys, Kev here. I want to do my review on the Protech Newport. This is in the lefty configuration, but it'll work either way. You can pick one up, lefty or righty. I recently got this, it's been a couple months now. I picked it up from PVK Vegas. I believe they may still have a few in stock. I think Knife Joy carries these, and a couple other retailers carry these. It's pretty cool little EDC automatic. This is actually one of my only automatic knives. I have this, and I have two of the Microtech Bounty Hunter OTF models, the Ultratech and the UTX85. Those are out on loan right now to my buddy Kyle from DTOM Knives and Gear. So if you want to check those out, he should have some videos up on them. And once I get them back, I'll do some videos on those. They're pretty cool. I really do like the Bounty Hunter models from Microtech. I'm not really into the just kind of black bladed or coated blade, black handle OTFs. But these were special because they have the cool green handles with the apocalyptic finish and everything. But they're pretty cool, so you could look forward to seeing those. But right now we're talking about the Protech Newport. This is a model that's been around a while. Surprisingly, I haven't seen many reviews of it on YouTube for some reason. I'm not sure why that is, because it is a popular model. It has this sweet, sleek design. It has this drop point blade that goes all the way out to a very, very fine tip. It's a very pokey, stabby type knife, but it doesn't look dangerous or anything. It's just kind of a really good EDC cutter. This is made of S35 VN steel, and it has Protech's aluminum handle scales with that matte finish, which is very nice. So overall, the profile, the aesthetics of this knife are very nice. I think they went with this longer deep carry clip to kind of go along with the design of it, because it's kind of long and sleek. I do kind of wish they had the shorter clip on here like they do on the Malibu and some of their other models. But with that said, the clip is very good. It functions very well coming in and out of the pocket. It is very deep carry all the way to the back of the handle here. So it definitely gets the job done. And since we're talking about the clip, I'd like to talk about the ergonomics. So I have a large size hand. I wear large size gloves, not too big, not too small. And I can get all four fingers on here. I get a good grip, good purchase. There's no jimping anywhere on this knife, but you're locked in very solid. I do kind of wish there was something here, kind of a guard maybe, if this was a little more like protruding a little more, or if there was something, a choil or, something like that, just because it does feel a little bit like you could slide up onto that blade. But then again, it's made for, light duty EDC type stuff, so they don't expect you to hard use this, I don't think, especially with such a small tip that goes out to such a fine point. It's not necessarily super dainty. I don't feel like it's just gonna chip right off. I don't know how well you can see it, but it is thin, but it seems relatively sturdy. And it does come down to a very fine edge. It must be pretty thin behind the edge. I haven't measured it or anything, but I would guess it would be somewhere around 15, 18 thousandths behind the edge. And it is very thin stock to begin with. My guess is it would be 0.1 inches. And it just slices through paper, packaging, anything you need it to. I actually used this one last night. We got some dog treats in from our grocery order, and I was trying to get, and you know when you have those like the little notches where you can tear it off, and then you have the zipper, or the Ziploc type of thing on like dog treats or chips or whatever. Well, for some reason, it's either me or, these things aren't made right, but I'm guessing it's me. I always tear it to where it doesn't open. And then I have to like sit there with my nails and try to separate the packaging. So I had that happen last night with the dog treats, and I just popped this out and just sliced it off, and it cut through it like butter. I mean, it was fantastic. So it's definitely a great little EDC knife. I'm really enjoying it. In terms of action, you can see that it snaps out of there very well. And I do want to kind of say, in terms of automatics, the out the side OTF, and again, this is, my first foray into that. I have another one coming actually right now. It's a bit of a special one. It's going to be part of the giveaway I'm doing, so stay tuned for that. But I got a pretty good one coming from Blade HQ, if you want to take any guesses. But somebody out there is going to get a cool OTF, or not OTF, a cool automatic out the side. But what I wanted to say was, I'm not that big of a fan of it because I'm a really fidgety guy. I want to flip my knife open and flip it closed and kind of play with it. And that's why the Protech Malibu is probably my favorite knife currently. And this, it is fun to watch it shoot out of there. And, it does have a good kick, but you have to two-hand close it, or you have to kind of do the leg thing. You can't see me doing it, but you kind of have to do the leg thing, which works great with this knife. But that's kind of the downside to an automatic knife for me. And that's why this one hasn't gotten a ton of pocket time. But now that I've been carrying it for a few days in a row, I'm actually really enjoying the knife itself. And that kind of puts the fidgeting on the back burner, So as a knife, as an EDC, this is a fantastic option. As a play toy, fidget toy, it's a decent option, I'll say. One thing I want to point out about the action is, yes, it snaps out of there very good. But it does have a little tiny bit of blade play, a little bit of side to side. And what I noticed was, if I try to tighten down the pivot, I can get it to where there's no blade play, but then it seems to be a little bit slower on the deployment. And then I can loosen it and it'll have blade play, and then it'll fire out. So I've kind of found a happy medium where there's just a tiny bit of blade play and I get the great action. And I just Loctited, I used blue Loctite on the pivot, and I locked it in at that spot, and it's been great ever since. But I did notice, even if I tighten it down and got it to where I got a good deployment, no blade play, after firing it 5 or 10 times, it would loosen up a little bit. So that's something to keep in mind. You want to keep your eye on the pivot, make sure it's tight enough. You're not getting a ton of play, but everybody kind of has their own preferences when it comes to blade play versus action. And in manual knives, I prefer drop shut action, but I am like OCD, so I have an issue with blade play. I can't stand blade play, even though it functionally does not really matter in most cases if it's just a little bit, especially since I'm really just using my knives to open packages and cut paper and stuff. But it's just kind of a little pet peeve of mine. So, I'm always trying to balance the drop shuttiness to the blade play on a manual knife. But that comes into play a little bit here on this guy. I really like the aesthetic of the black handle with the stonewash. So it's a two-tone. You have a stonewash blade here, and then you have satin flats up here. But I really like the aesthetic with the silver uh, hardware and button here. Really looks good to me. This is marked production run 8, number 810. So I'm guessing they don't denote the difference between a lefty and a righty in terms of the production runs. Because I don't see them making a 810, plus in one run of just lefties. I could be wrong, and maybe they only did production run 8 as lefties, and that's how it worked. And they did 810 total, but I sort of doubt that. I think they just marked all the Newports the same. So there is also a smaller model, smaller version of this. I believe it's called the Protech Sprint, which is basically just a shrunk down version. Same blade style handle, it's just smaller. I believe it's Cali legal. And then they also have a model called the Protech Half Breed, which has the Cali legal Sprint model blade on it, and then it has this full Newport handle on it. That's why it's called the half breed, because you have half Sprint, half Newport. So I find that pretty cool. I have not seen either of those models in a lefty configuration. So lefties out there, you're kind of limited to, as far as I know with Protech, they make the Newport in a lefty. They make a Godfather and possibly the Godson in a lefty, and then they make the TR3 in a lefty. Those are the only ones I am aware of. We're all hoping and praying that they come out with a lefty Malibu in the future, right? All of us lefties really want that. But back to the Newport. Those are kind of my thoughts. It's been reviewed before. It's a popular knife. I wish the clip was a little shorter. I wish there was something here to kind of block my hand from moving up. I wish it, was a little bit tighter on the pivot and still gave me the great action. But I kind of understand with an automatic, with all that, spring power in there, something's going to give, right? So a little bit of play, honestly, is not a big deal. I wouldn't even call it an issue. It's just a tiny peeve of mine, pet peeve of mine. And then finally, I just want to talk about the value on this. So I picked this up, like I said, from PBK Vegas, and it was, I believe, $164.99 is what I paid for this guy. And I've seen them anywhere from that 164 to I think like 180. I've seen them in other places. And I would absolutely recommend this knife at that price point. You're getting a USA made knife. In my case, you're getting a lefty dedicated knife, which is very important. You're getting S35VN, which is a pretty big upgrade over their standard use of 154 CM steel. So you're getting a more premium steel on here. You're getting their aluminum matte finish handles. You're getting the deep carry clip. And again, USA made with great action, great warranty. Protech is an absolutely fantastic company to deal with. I communicate with them occasionally about things, and they're just such great people over there, and it's so easy to support them. So that's kind of my rundown on the Protech Newport in the lefty configuration. Try to give you guys a little bit of a close-up here if I can. Get a good view of it there. So that is the Protech Newport. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Stay sharp.